welcome back to another episode of Maintenance with Mike. So today we're going to be changing the particulate filter and the ultraviolet lamp under the house for our domestic water. We have a cistern tank up the property, holds 1,500 gallons, fed from a natural spring. So we do need some protection just from waterborne diseases. First and foremost, this is not a sponsored video. I paid full retail price for all the items that I purchased from the water guy based out of Cranbrook, British Columbia. These people are super helpful. I'll put a link in the description to their website. They ship all across Canada. Seem like a very busy group, which is great. You actually get to speak to somebody if you call them requesting sizing or certain types of lamps and stuff like that. They're super helpful. I didn't know much about the system that we have here. So I was able to send some photos, and they sort of pointed me all in the right direction here. Really good group. I highly recommend them. And yeah, anything to do with domestic water, pumps, filters, expansion tanks, tons of stuff on their website. So have a look. Anyway, so what we got from them is our this is our particulate filter. This is made by Pentair. It's 25 micron. This is the Big Blue type, is what everybody refers to in the industry. We've got some O-rings from them as well with the silicone lubricant, and we actually have the Viqua ultraviolet lamps as well. I'll show you how to isolate the turn off the water, isolate the filter, purge the air from the cartridge so that you can actually get it out. I'll actually show you what the old cartridge looks like when we take it out. I'll give you a good idea of what we're filtering, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we're under the house now. You can see there's the Big Blue water filter. There's a gauge that shows us what the house pressure is. That's the tube that the ultraviolet light or lamp fits into. And you can see this unit here is a controller for it, and it's showing a red light, which is either lamp failure or it's run out of time. So when we reset this will show 365, and it'll count down 365 days to the lamp replacement. It's hard to tell if the lamp is on sometimes, but I'll show you a little trick. When we turn out all the lights, you'll see an green glow on the output of the of this tube right here, and then you know that the lamp is working. So like I was saying earlier, this is showing 50 pounds pressure. This is after the jockey pump. The jockey pump is that way. So there's a shutoff rate here. That's one of the shutoffs. So we basically need to isolate this Big Blue filter. So you shut the water off here, and you shut the water off there. There's another shutoff there. And that basically isolates all the water in this section, so that you can actually release the pressure on the Big Blue tank to purge the air out of it. There's a little red, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little red button right on top here that I'll show you. We'll press once we turn the water off, and that'll release the air so we can actually undo that that filter cartridge. Here's the specific wrench for it. This just slides up from the bottom, and then you use that to turn to undo it. So there we are, ready to go there with the wrench on it. So I like bringing a bucket down to put underneath here. It definitely helps catch all the water when you start to, because there's going to be water in this section on either side here, right? So we're going to shut the water off first, which is this one here. That's isolating the water to the Big Blue. And then over here there's another one. You can shut the water off to the house. So there we go. So that's shut off now and isolated. So up on top here is a little red button you'll see right here. See how it's purging the water out of there? It's releasing the pressure in that section, which then in turn makes it much easier to get this off. Got a sneaky feeling I'm going to get wet somehow. Oh man, those are on there. Wow. You saw that spin, hopefully. So now we want to get this handle off here. Don't need that anymore. Don't think we need that anymore. There we go. Comes the water. Like I said, I think I might get wet. Yeah, a little wet, not too bad. Could have been worse. So there's the O-ring, the old O-ring. I tossed that right in the dirt here on the ground to make sure I don't get it confused with the new one. We'll get a paper towel, we'll clean all inside here where it's going to sit. So let's take this bucket outside before we change the lamp, and I'll show you what this filter looks like. We'll wash out this housing. So that's the door to the crawl space, and as you can see, I'm locked in here. So yeah, I guess that's a valuable lesson to always have a plan B, or hopefully somebody else is home, because yeah, that sucks.
Are you still? How did that? It like literally latched shut.
I have no idea.
Are you recording this?
Yes. My rescue from the crawl space.
On the phone with my mom. Like the little, like, you know the like old screen porch thing, Mom? That with the little latchy, like, it goes into the little hoop? That actually like closed shut. How did that happen?
I have no idea.
It must have been sitting upright, and then when you closed it just fell down?
I guess.
Wow. What are the odds of that?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Yeah.
We're out of the crawl space now. So the trick to getting in my situation is put a plastic bag over top of the filter, so the water as it splashes doesn't come out of the bucket, it just kind of goes down into the bucket. So we'll have a look at the filter. It's pretty dark. When you compare it to a new one, which is brilliant white. That's, yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen worse. Obviously the inside is clean and white, but the outside is capturing all of the sediment and particulates that get in through the system. So the O-ring sits right in this groove at the top. You'll see when we go to put the O-ring back in, the O-ring actually sits right in this piece here. So we'll put a bit of that lubricant on it and put it on here and then thread this back on. So I'm going to take this over to the tap and get this all rinsed out, toss out that filter, and get it ready to go back in. So we'll be right back. So as I said, you want to make sure this thing's nice and clean. Not so much on the outside, that doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure the inside's clean and that the threads are all wiped of any debris. These threads, you want to make sure they're nice and clean and they'll go on smoothly. And then you want to make sure that this lip here is nice and clean, because that's where that new O-ring is going to sit in. Yeah. Okay, let's go put it back in. So you want to always bring a clean paper towel with you down here so you can clean the where the O-ring sits. Just wipe around in there, make sure there's no gungies in there. It'll make it have a better seal. Okay, so we've got the Big Blue in here. We're going to open up this package of our filter, and we're going to put it inside this tube. Making sure all the plastic comes off for obvious reasons. And a little piece of paper. Yeah, there we go. So slide that into the tube, and it sits in a little crown on the bottom. Where you want it, sort of centered. And then the O-ring, which is in here with the lubricant. So the O-ring just sits in this little groove here, right at the top of the filter. But we want to put some lubricant on this O-ring to hold it there. It doesn't come off while we're tightening it. Now you don't need much of this stuff. I just put a little on my finger. I don't think I've punctured the thing. There we go. Not much or so. And basically you just want to take the O-ring and rub it all the way around. Make it sticky. And it lubricates the O-ring, and it also holds it there, which is nice. And we put it back into this groove. And we clean our fingers off. Put that back in the bag. There we go. Now, it's time to put the filter back on. Make sure the O-ring stays on there while we thread it in here. The thread's on there pretty nicely, if the threads are clean. Grab our little wrench. That's pretty good. Let's see, that's definitely tight enough. So we don't want to turn the water back on yet because we still have the ultraviolet light that we're going to change. So we're going to, that's ready to go. When we turn the water on, this cartridge will fill, and then the water will start to get filtered through here. So let's leave this for now. Let's go over to the light. So we're at the ultraviolet light now. We have the replacement right here in front of us. And we've shut the power off to the unit. You can see now it's there's nothing on the display. bunch of noise and then it shuts down. So we could basically pop this off by squeezing these two tabs here. This takes off that cover. And this is your power section here. This just unplugs from the unit. And then this is your lamp here. So you just unscrew this. That is the old lamp. So you'll notice on this lamp, there's an O-ring. The in the new package, there'll be a replacement O-ring for this, and it just slides up against the back of this piece here. You don't need any of the silicone on it. So let's grab the new one. So the new package. And you don't want to touch this with your fingers, this new lens. So the O-ring should be already on. There's the O-ring right there in the package, I can see it. So you grab the O-ring. We have the O-ring now. We just want to slide it on here without touching the glass, so it comes down to the base here. And this slides inside a glass tube. And the glass tube that's inside the UV chamber can be cleaned or replaced. I just don't do it every time. So this slides in now. So don't let this fool you. Make sure this is tight, the lamp is tight in there. Now this bezel turns, so you can line this up so that this is flat and these are the pins here to line up with this plug, right? So that's the whole idea why this bezel turns. See how that's going to fit there now? There we go. So that's on now. We can turn the water back on and make sure there's no leaks. And then we can turn the controller back on. I'll show you how to reset the controller. Okay, so that's back on. Now we can turn this one back on. You should probably hear the pump come on, I'm going to imagine. Pressure. To about 50 pounds. Now we check for any leaks. We'll come down in a few days again and check. Or 50 pounds. This was wet from draining it, so that's not a leak. We'll dry it all off though, so it'll make it easier to tell if there is a leak. Okay, so that's good. So now we're going to restart the ultraviolet. So we're going to plug that back in. And it's going to do a restart. And I think probably we have to reset it once it stops beeping here. $365. Maybe we have to restart it. The lamp is definitely not on. Let's unplug it again. So we just had to unplug it and plug it back in again to reset it. There we go. Reset. So that's what you're looking for, is 365 days and 2 green lights. Now, if there's any question in your mind, because this is basically telling you the lamp is lit, but there's a way to know if the lamp is actually on, and I'll quickly show you how to do that. So you can see the controller says 365 days until you have to change the lamp again, and it's on. This is the controller. Is this box here, and the long lamp piece here has a green light on it as well. So we know the lamp's on, or the controller thinks the lamp's on. So what we do is close the door a bit. We turn out this light, and you'll see the output of that ultraviolet light is going to be a green tube. See how that's bright green? Let me turn this light off. So that's how you can tell the ultraviolet light is on if you have clear PEX tubing. So that's a nice bright green, which is the UV light. Hey, thanks again for watching another episode of Maintenance with Mike. If you find these videos helpful or informative, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Maybe share the videos with a family member or friend that might enjoy them as well. And please check out the water guy. The link will be in the description. He helped me out immensely on sourcing all these items, and the shipping was prompt, and they're a really good group of individuals that know a lot about water systems. So anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.